Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Peter Racer here from Foundation Expo 88 YouTube channel, and good morning again, John. How you? Oh, good afternoon, I should say again.
Good
Uh,
evening from here.
yes, I keep forgetting of the time difference. So the first thing I have to do is that John McGregor sent me a little missive saying that it was Times Square where the Morning Star was the epicenter, and really, in effect, the epicenter of the whole Expo site, with all the neon above it. You'll be happy to know that those two photos you sent me yesterday of the stamped out leftovers, I put up on the Facebook page this morning as a quiz. I'm guaranteed
Good.
no one's going to guess what they are.
It's pretty far.
Yeah, it is. So we spoke about the other day, just the number of commissions you've managed to get in China, and I assume that where the Chinese institutions and city governments and provinces are using your artwork is basically in a branding method or methodology, as well as recognizing beauty.
Uh, yes. I have, for example, the three sculptures in Beijing. The one for the Olympics. That sort of the Olympics sort of illustrates that it's a cultural event by having sculpture and paintings and that sort of thing all around the city in the parks. Another piece in Beijing was for the 30-year anniversary celebration of the peace détente between the U.S. and China.
And that I
That,
really do like that piece. That's quite significant.
Thank you, Peter. That's in a park very close to Cloud and Rain. So that's a celebratory memorial sort of public sculpture in a public park. And then the third piece is on the campus of Tsinghua University, and that was for the 100th anniversary of the university, founding of the university. So that's a sort of memorial, celebratory branding sculpture. Uh, and that's fairly similar throughout China with my other sculptures.
I was very impressed by the universality of the spread of your sculptures throughout China. I did
Yeah.
say to the Lord Mayor a couple of weeks ago that I thought you were like the Coca-Cola of sculpture in China. I don't think he quite got the connection, but anyway,
That's
the one of the so then just leading on, Paradigm, which has not been unfortunately re-erected in Brisbane, but is now on the radar. I'm assuming through the work that we're both doing. That was one of the ones that first had a computer involvement in its design and makeup, and then also then had a computer relationship in relation to the way that it functioned as a piece of artwork.
that's
Um,
right. The structural engineer initially designed it in his head with his figures, the sort of the traditional way. But then he got thinking that he better check it because it's such a big piece. Uh, and at that time, they didn't normally use computers. So he was in the university and he asked the university computer department to program it in, which, it's that thick.
yeah, they would have used cards, wouldn't
Yeah, it's all paper. It's
they?
got
Yeah.
this really a huge amount of information, and they determined that his initial design had 48 feet of deflection, so he had to redesign the interior structure. So fortunately, we had computers, and that corrected the issue. And then later on at Expo, the Expo folks installed the landing lights, 66 airplane landing lights, and they were computer sequenced to create different patterns of light for the nighttime display.
But
So,
very monochromatically, I would imagine, just white
yeah,
light.
afraid so. With landing lights, no color. Yeah, just the landing lights.
Yeah.
They were powerful though.
Whereas today, I assume if you're doing it or had the opportunity to restart again, would you use LEDs and reds and greens and
Exactly. Yeah, today's lighting technology is so much advanced that we could have a glorious light show in that sculpture. If we were to do it today, it could be obviously computer sequenced and programmed, and you could have just a very rich display of light for nighttime.
Stefan, the Sky Needle, which was the other piece, which was really much higher, at 88 meters, it actually, I think it was in 2004, but I could be corrected, there was a fire through the top part of it, and Stefan, the owner of it, took the opportunity to reconfigure and put in there a more modern light system. And so I think that the two together at night time would just be so spectacular and be such a great attraction for Brisbane.
It could. It would be a fabulous landmark light display. At nighttime and daytime, it would just be a powerful sculpture, landmark sculpture. Yeah, I can't. Well, I'm biased, of course, but I can't imagine how one could not want to have a 100-foot sculpture as part of your public parks.
I think it's actually 130 foot, to be honest.
Piece.
I think it's actually 130 foot.
No, it's 30 meters, which is 100 feet.
Is it? Oh, okay. I must have
Just
got that.
yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
Sorry.
No, that's fine. So the yes, it's. I mean, the history of it is, one Lord Mayoralty, one Lord Mayor, leaving and another one coming, and then re-establishing priorities, and then another one leaving, and unfortunately, it's just sort of sat in the background, not quite ever making it. But I'm hoping that with the G20 coming up, that there'll be enough interest generated from the 25th anniversary to see it rise up out of the ground, so to speak.
That would be fabulous. Let's hope.
Well, we've spoken about the uniqueness of it, and I think you mentioned in a previous attempt this morning to do the YouTube that you felt that it had some parallels to the Eiffel Tower. So, I think that's possibly quite a reasonable comparison.
Granted, it's only a fraction of its height, of the tower's height, but in terms of the Eiffel Tower is synonymous with Paris, and if this sculpture were standing in a public park, it could be a comparable identifier of associated with Brisbane in that sense. So it could be, I guess you used the phrase the branding sculpture. It's a landmark. On that scale, the sculpture becomes a landmark. And so as a landmark, it becomes identified with a location, i.e. the city of Brisbane. And so one would associate that with the city. So it could be utilized for that purpose if one were interested.
Yes, I have, to be honest, I have no idea where Sally Ann, when she acquired it back all those many years ago, had in her mind where it would be erected. I mean, I know a little bit of the story of each one of the other pieces that were put into public parks while she was controlling the purse strings, so to speak. But that one I've never actually had the opportunity to ask her, and hopefully one day I will actually get around to remembering to ask her about that.
Some folks were talking about Docklands, and then there was Kangaroo.
Yeah, Kangaroo Point. Yeah. Howard Smith Wharves, I think.
So,
that was the proper name of it. Docklands is actually in Melbourne.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, I thought there was some kind of docks there in Brisbane.
There were, yeah. It was Howard Smith Wharves.
Okay. Maybe that's it.
Yeah, that's fine. All right. Yeah. John, it's been such a wonderful experience talking to you and working with you over the last 6 months. I really can't say thank you enough, to be honest. You've kept my enthusiasm going. You've regaled myself and John with very interesting stories and given us some great photos, which really opened our eyes to the fact that, well, maybe some other sculptures had some unique history, and out of it, really, we wouldn't have collected the things that we have over the last few months except for your enthusiasm and encouragement. So I'll conclude the YouTube by saying thank you very much. and then imploring everyone who's watching to have a look at all the other YouTubes. There are now 80 plus, and may, no doubt, after today's efforts, sort of trick past the 90. I'm not quite sure. There are a lot recorded that I'm trying to edit and bring to a sort of a finished product. So it's a bit hard to know exactly what goes up publicly versus what's actually sitting in stock. And with that, I shall say good morning and thank you.
See you, Peter.
Thank you.